Okay. We're on, my friends. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. This is Dave Sharpe coming to you from the Mastermind in Orlando, Florida, with just a couple of my some crazy, ridiculous noise and say hi to them. We just blew out some speakers on some old raggedy PCs right there. That was awesome. That was awesome. Well, my friends, as promised, I told you yesterday that we would be here. There was a couple of new people who were watching yesterday for the first time. They were like, what's this guy talking about? You know, they're not going to be anywhere. He's sitting in his mom's basement. Well, here we are. Here we are. I left mom's basement to come out here, hang out with all of these amazing people. We do these 3 or 4 times or every 3 or 4 months, sometimes a year. The next one that we're going to be doing is actually in, anybody know? Wow, Cajun country. Hello. Okay, yeah, New Orleans. We're going to be in we're going to be Mardi Gras it up. We are going to be beads, Cajun life, the whole thing. And so we are so glad that you guys are here with us this morning, and we're going to be discussing, interviewing, talking, laughing, maybe crying, all those things. But you can't, you're not going to be able to stay for long. We're going to just give you a little sneak peek, and then we're going to kick you out, and we're going to have an awesome event here this weekend. Jalen, are we good as far as being able to see up here? Because I'm going to do some hypnosis. We're going to be having some people run around the room, asleep. And my favorite is as chickens. Do we have any volunteers? No, I'm just playing. We won't be doing that. Nobody will come back tomorrow if I did that. And so if this is your first week of being in Legendary, being on Wake Up Legendary, we want to welcome you to our community. We take your presence here very seriously, whether you want to come to a mastermind and kind of learn in person and be with us and hang and party and all that, or whether you want to just chill there in the safety of your own home and kind of check us out and feel us out. My invitation to you is to, like so many of our guests have said, even this week, give yourself a chance to go through the training. Give yourself a chance to go through the training. Actually go through the curriculum and just absorb it all up. Here's the other thing that I invite you to do. Watch these Wake Up Legendaries every morning, right? Get on the list. Anybody know the phone number? 813-296-8553. Is that it? Wow. I was actually just surprised myself right there. You can text WUL to 813-296-8553, and we'll send you a little text message reminder every morning. And if at any time throughout this Wake Up Legendary you want to get started and say, hey, these guys are pretty interesting. Actually, there's a lot more gals here than guys, so probably going to be, hey, these ladies are pretty interesting, right? Because I told the guys they need to step it up in the room, but that's a discussion for off camera, okay? You can go to legendarymarketer.com/enroll, ENROLL. And that's a little thing that everybody should know. See, we're doing a live right now. And for those of you who haven't gone live yet, it's a real powerful way to start to build, trust with your people. You should know your links. You should know your stuff to be able to tell people off the top of your head so you can send them to places throughout your life. Some of the best businesses, affiliate marketing businesses, have been built from going live, from doing webinars. Anybody, I know going live is a big step. Has anybody actually ever done a webinar in here? Yeah? For as a marketer or in a previous career? Okay. On Zoom, GoToWebinar back in the day or currently? Yeah. Before Zoom, it was only GoToWebinar, people. So we did GoToWebinars. I'm not saying you're old or anything. I'm just saying that that's what I did in the beginning as well. And this was, 13, 14 years ago. And I've told this story a lot, but when I first went live, nobody showed up to it. But I had too much pride to tell everybody in the house that nobody was there. So I just acted as if it was a packed house. I just said, we got a packed house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. because I had told the whole house I needed quiet because we were going to be doing a webinar. I didn't have the humility to shut the computer down and say, well, we'll try again tomorrow. I didn't have that. I had too much pride. So what did I do? I got good at presenting live because I presented for nobody. And what happened was eventually during that webinar, 1 or 2 people came on and they were like, wow, this is on and popping. He's going strong. But it was because I wasn't waiting for anybody to come on. And that's a big piece of success, is that you can't wait for people to give you permission to get going. You have to go. And people have to walk in the room and feel like, oh shit, he already started. She already started. Let me sit down quietly. Not come into the room, you're waiting on them, and they go, oh, am I the only one here? Wow. Interesting. When's everybody else getting here? Kind of like a party, right? What do you do at a party? When the party starts, you set the vibe before the first guest gets there. You don't wait till 5 people arrive to the party and say, okay, we're going to turn down the lights now, everybody. We're going to start. No, you turn the lights down. You start the music at the beginning. So when that first person walks in, they're like, oh, shit, okay. How you doing? Like, okay, right? Kind of dark. They can, because those first people, they kind of want to just come in and just kind of like play the wall, right? They don't run right out into the dance floor like, oh, shit. They, okay, it takes a while for people. You ever been to a party? You're going to be at a party tomorrow night. This is what's going to happen. Can I predict tomorrow night? Everybody's going to come in, get a drink, chill, like, okay, what's the vibe? Okay, we got any dancers? Okay, any dancers in the house? Me too, shit. I like to get my groove on. But I don't go immediately I don't walk right in and go, okay, oh shit. I do the same thing. Okay, hey, let's check it out. Get a little sparkling water, Maybe some of you go right for the hard stuff. Let's loosen up a little bit. Okay, we can do this. That's what your audience feels like. So it's your job to make them feel comfortable. It's your job. That's the difference between being an employee and an entrepreneur and a business owner. It's no longer your prospects and your audience don't have the same responsibility that your employer did. It was your employer's job to make you feel safe and comfortable in your job. Okay, we got a nice seat for you here. Got a nice cubicle. Okay, nice desk setup. Okay, here's our policies and procedures and sexual harassment stuff and all that. Here's HR. No, if you're the boss, you're responsible for making your audience feel comfortable. So a lot of times we get that twisted. We think it's our job or it's our audience's job to make us feel comfortable. It's not. It's our job to make them feel comfortable and welcome into our lives, in our videos, in our little mini communities. Do you guys like the aspect of community here at Legendary? Well, you should be building your own little communities. That's where you take the next step out into the marketplace and start building a place for people to feel comfortable, to follow you. And it's not their job to root you on and say, you can go post it, you can go live, we're here cheering you. It's not your mommy. It's not, it's not grandma who shows up to all your baseball games or your dances, no matter how bad you are. That was my grandma. Very sweet lady. Sat like right out in right field no matter what. Now, I happen to be pretty good at baseball, but she would have come if I sucked and made me feel like I was great. Some of you do suck right now. Yeah. I didn't say you suck on things, sir. Calm down. Calm down. This guy's ready to, we're going to have fun this weekend. I just said, you suck. It's okay. I suck even sometimes to this day. But it's not you guys' job to make me feel okay about myself. It's not you guys' job to lift me up. Your customer is thinking, okay, this sucks. What's in it for me? That's life. That's business. We have to set our feelings aside. Our feelings are not facts. It's just a damn fact that you feel. They are not any determining factor of your success or ability to be successful. As a matter of fact, if you talk to some of these people in the room who are successful, they probably still feel awkward and uncomfortable. They still have their own imposter syndromes. They do it anyways. They do it anyways. Does this make sense? They do it anyways. It's kind of like getting thrown into parenthood. Anybody a parent in the room? Is it your job? Is it your kids? Would you expect your children to be like, it's okay, mommy. It's okay. I see that you're having it. Maybe some of them do. That's called parentification, though. You'll learn about that in therapy, right? Or they'll learn about that in therapy later. No, it's our job. And guess what? Hey, whether you're ready or not, you just show up and do your job as a parent. You protect, you take care of, you provide for. You don't, and guess what? I'm not equating your audience and your clients, all of you out there watching, I'm not equating you all to children, but I'm saying this is the mentality of a servant-driven leader. I'm here to serve you. There's a certain aspect of humility that comes along with that. Our egos are oftentimes bigger than our bank accounts. We let them get in the way. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be nice to this asshole who left this crazy comment. No, I'm going to show him I'm going to show him how smart I am and witty I am. And then not only is that person not going to buy, they never were, but you also show your ass to everybody else who was thinking about buying. The same way that you would and I almost had one of these moments. My son just started T-ball a couple of weeks ago, okay? And here's what I did, okay? Now, I'm a baseball player. I played a lot of baseball when I was young. And I remember 10, 11, 12 years old, my dad, God bless him, would take me out to the field. We'd hit a bucket of balls before practice. Before practice. He taught me to be the first one out there. Well, I was, again, 10, 11, 12. My son's 3. Okay, you see where this is going? So I took his little ass out there at the first practice. We're going to get out there and we're going to hit a bucket of balls, son. Okay? And we did. And he did absolutely great. Slammed. We were in the batting cages. I mean, I felt like a real dad. I mean, even my daughter was over there who's 7, she likes to do, a ballet, and she does acro dancing and is wonderful. She wants to play baseball because I'm playing with Sam and she wants to be a part of that. And so even she's over there taking balls from my dad, who had a big health issue last year. And I'm just having a moment. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, right? So anyways, we get out on the field. Practice is about to start, right? This cat starts running the bases. I'm like, wow, we got a winner here, right? I mean, 4 times around the bases. Now, all of a sudden, practice actually starts. Guess who's got any energy left? Guess who is now sitting on the baseball field in the dirt, throwing dirt? The coach is like, come on, guys, we're going to line up and bat. My son's the only one who wants to, and he don't want to do it. He don't want to do it. No, I'm not moving. I'm not even getting up. I'm tired. Did you see what we just did, Dad? I hit a bucket of balls and I ran around the bases 4 times. And I wanted to snatch his little ass up. Get your ass in that dugout and get ready to hit. Get that helmet on your. That's what I was feeling. It was my fault. My responsibility. I had to have that, okay, what can I change next time? I had to look at me and say, what? Okay, hey. And even one of the dads said, yeah, bub, you get about 1 good hour out of them every practice. So and he had a couple of older kids, you know. So I was like, good to know, man. Glad I learned that lesson on the very first practice of his life, you know, because I'm feeling like a real asshole right now, you know. And now here's the thing in how this ties into us as entrepreneurs. I could have very easily said, this kid, what the lazy. I mean, what's he doing? You know, I mean, embarrassing me. How dare you embarrass your father out here? I'm out here bringing you out early to hit a bucket of balls. I mean, what's going on? He's bad, right? It's he's having a rough time. Put it all on him. Don't we do that sometimes as entrepreneurs and new marketers? Well, I'm not getting the support that I need in such and such. Or the audience ain't acted right. Nobody's watching my videos. I wonder if I'm shadow banned. I wonder if I'm shadow banned. I wonder if, Mark Zuckerberg, he's got it out for me, that Mark, on Facebook and Instagram. I suck at both places. It must be them, not me. You know? Oh, these assholes are leaving nasty comments. People just don't understand. They don't get what I'm doing. They're such losers. Broke mindset. Yeah. Employee-minded people out here, right? We look just as bad when we act like that as I almost did, blaming it on my son for being, because here's the thing, I did that. I wore him out. The same way that when I start, my content sucks. It's okay. My content sucks at the beginning. That's why it's getting no views. That's why it's getting, guess what? Our first practice also sucked. It was hard for the whole family. We had other family members there too. I had my best friend there. I mean, it was a family thing. I had to have a talk with my mother after because she was like, she went into, oh, he's really, talking about my son. I'm like, my son has nothing to do with this. This was my fault. But that's after 15 years of personal responsibility in both business and also in recovery. See, this whole business thing bleeds into our personal lives as well. We're not just going to be rock star leaders in our business and come home and be victims. We have to leave that victim mentality at the door. We have to start taking ownership of our life. How are you going to set boundaries in your home when you need to work? When you feel guilty because you haven't been there for your kids or whatever at your job, and now all of a sudden you're taking time to start a business, you have to get over that. Nobody's coming to save you. Dr. Phil, is not going to come sit in your living room and walk you through it. That's going to lead to Jerry Springer, rest in peace. We go crazy when we don't take personal responsibility because nobody's going to do what you want them to do. Not even your audience. A lot of times, not even your kids, not your spouse. Why? Because you don't have control over them. You have to influence them and lead them, not dominate them and force them. I had somebody say this on Wake Up Legendary yesterday. People hate to be sold. They love to buy. Just like kids hate to be told what to do, but they love to participate. So this is my new strategy. My son doesn't want to do, because they did a random coach selection. So I'm actually not a coach. I was somewhat disappointed in that, but it's okay. It was like some of the coaches found out just on like the day one. They were like, oh, coach such and such, come up to the front. Like it was like an open. And some of the guys were like, wow, that's news to me. Okay. Yeah. So I was like, so I'm the equipment manager. Okay. I went and bought balls and helmets and bats and shit. I'm the self-appointed equipment manager. So I'm out on the field and in the dugout. Here's what I'm going to do next time my son is too tired or doesn't want to participate. That's okay, son. I'm going to throw balls with Shep over here. I'm going to help out such and such. Because I learned a unique lesson actually in 12-step recovery. It's about attraction rather than promotion. We as marketers have to attract people to what we're doing. That's sort of the interesting thing about marketing. We think, some people think it's promote, slam, shove it down their throat. It's actually be the person who people say, I want what they have. So if you're in the baby niche, for example, I use this example all the time because it's kind of out there. It's creative, getting your baby to go to sleep tonight. I've had that struggle before. Anybody ever had that struggle? When you bring the baby home to get them to go and actually get a good night's sleep, right? Nobody except two of us. I mean, come on. Anybody ever had kids before, for God's sakes? They don't sleep through the night, and they wake up all the time. And so if you are on video and you're talking about a strategy that you used and you're talking about how the child's getting, good sleep, you're getting good sleep, you're waking up, you're refreshed, you've got some sanity. That's very attractive to people who would be listening to that, right? That's very attractive. And then we gently give them a call to action to go and check out, but we do it through more value. If you want to learn the top 3 things that I did to do this, I put them in an ebook. Go fill it out, and I'll send it right to your inbox. Our promoting is more like conversational invitations. Hold all my calls just hold my calls. Okay, all my calls. So I want to transition here. Does this make sense to everybody about the personal responsibility that this takes? Extraordinary personal responsibility. How many of you have had a challenge with that up until this point? The transition from employee to entrepreneur. Does anybody have the courage to be honest about that? That personal responsibility of, oh shit, everything falls on me now. And more than anything, the mindset that I need to have in order to own everything. Own everything. One of the things that I want to do is our team down here, Julie, Joanne, are you all down here? Would you ladies come up, Julie, Joanne? This is our Chief Operating Officer and our Chief Marketing Officer. Please help me welcome them to the front of the room. You didn't know we were doing this. Yeah, come on up. Come on up. Yeah, they're actually doing real work over there. Yeah, have a microphone. Yes. And so I want to kind of transition into what it takes every day for us. Oh my God, everybody's like now. They're like, what in the hell's going on here? Holy shit, we got a fan club. Now, they didn't know we were going to be doing this, right? No, they were actually over there doing real work while I'm out here telling jokes and stories and stuff like that. And this is what Wake Up Legendary is all about, isn't it, Joanne? I mean, every day it's just anybody in the audience, I know many of you have been on Wake Up Legendary. Has anybody else been on Wake Up Legendary here in the audience? Okay. Those of you, not yet. What an answer. Give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. Not yet. Do we script? I mean, when you come on Wake Up Legendary, Caroline, it's pretty much like, hey, how you doing? Let's rock and roll, right? No scripting, no prompting, no prepping. That's one of the things that's cool about these masterminds, I think, is that pretty much nothing's planned, except for the speakers have their presentations. We're talking about what it takes to be in business, right? And I want you to talk about Julie just briefly in a nutshell. So like an hour or so. You can go like up to an hour.
I don't talk as much as you do. It's okay.
I know. She's been listening to me for many years. Julie has worked with me for, and this is also an opportunity for you on Wake Up Legendary to kind of learn a little bit, from more than just me about what we're doing here at Legendary and kind of what it takes to run this sort of an operation. How many people, Julie, do we have inside of our operation at this point currently?
Over 150.
over 150 people. And what is it like in your experience to, and I know the first answer that you're going to think, because we think very much alike, is herding cats. But what is it like to be, she's pretty much in charge of everybody. What is it like to lead, to manage? And how would you describe from your perspective the difference between leading and managing a team?
Right. So I'll start with that first of all. You can manage processes. So that's a big difference, is when you're managing your business, you're essentially managing processes that the people are doing. When you're leading, you're inspiring, you're encouraging, you're giving them the ability to show up at the business and perform at their best level, which we've got an amazing team. They all stood up. They're over there right now. But we give them the ability to show up every single day and do what they're great at. And I hate micromanaging people. So I always take a step back and give them the ability to show up, do their best, and then step in and help guide them where they need to be guided. With a company this big, we didn't start out at 150 plus people. We started out.
How many did we start out with?
2. It was just me and Dave, and it was almost 8 years ago. So we're going on 8 years that we have worked together, and it was just 2 people. And then he had this idea to start Legendary Marketer. And from there, we have steadily grown the company to where it's now over 150 people. We've got, an amazing staff of support people that you guys don't see that are behind the scenes. We have our sales team, which is amazing. So our business advisors that you've all interacted with at one point in time. But that has come through the amazing leadership that Dave provides every single day to our team, and his ability to just really inspire people. I mean, he's inspired all of you to be here today. And he inspires us in that same manner behind closed doors each and every day. And it's an amazing thing, but it takes a lot to keep this operation going. So for those of you that are like, oh, it's no big deal, I'm going to go start my own business and I'm going to create an affiliate program. It's not as easy as it looks. Sometimes we make it look really easy because you don't get to see all the inner workings of what goes on behind the scenes, the development, the websites that you have to keep running, the customer support that you have to have on staff. There's a lot of moving parts. And sometimes looking out, there's this glamorous, oh, you've got this amazing business, you're making lots of money, I can do that. But then you get into it and you're like, oh crap, I'm not prepared. Not only do I not know what I need to do, but I don't have the team to assist me. So it's definitely a scary endeavor for those people who have never done it. But let me tell you, you are in the right place to learn from the right people that are not only in this room, from Dave, myself, Joanne, and our amazing team over there, but from each and every one of you that are sitting next to each other, because you all have something unique to bring to the table and you all can learn from each other. So while you're here thinking, I'm going to learn from Dave himself, take a look at the person that's sitting next to you. And I guarantee that you'll probably learn something highly impactful from them as well.
Yay!
That's all I have to say.
Joanne.
Yes.
Hello,
sir.
Hello. You have experience with a business, and that business is still operational.
It is.
And now in a leadership role here, helping us grow this company. Some would call it an executive role. I prefer leadership role. What have you learned, from both of those businesses? Like, what are the similarities? But then maybe also, what are the differences? Because we're all here to learn how to run an online business, not a brick and mortar business. She has a gym,
I do.
and it specializes in pole vaulting or gymnastics.
So it's a kids sports facility. We do it all: competitive cheer, track and field, pole vault, preschool tumbling. Used to do the weekend birthday parties with the inflatables. I've done it all.
So talk to us about what are the similarities? Like, we're talking about personal responsibility and sometimes the shock of that, right? The shock of like personal responsibility and all of the hats that you have to wear, right? As a business owner, you have to wear all the damn hats, and it can be really overwhelming. It can even be frustrating. So what are the similarities between, all the businesses that you're involved in or have been involved in? But then, what do you see that also is different from building an online business that may relieve some of the stress of the brick and mortar?
So similarities, we'll start there. you have to hold yourself accountable. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're running. You have to show up every day. You have to lead. You have to guide. And you have to be willing to make hard decisions. It's not about making friends when you start adding staff and things like that. It's looking at longevity. And I think my biggest lesson that has really carried through, I opened that business when I was 21. So I was young and new, dealt with a lot of different things, was releasing your ego. Your ego will screw you faster than anything. And it's when you put on that business owner hat, you want to be like, oh yes, it's now all about me. It's all about me. And it's now not about you even more. What are you going to do to serve? It's not about your ego. And that's really the big similarity across the board. No matter what you're running. And that's my biggest piece of advice, is to really look back at yourself. And am I reacting? Am I making decisions because I want to look good? I want to feel good? Am I buying followers because I want that vanity number? Why am I making these decisions? Is it for my ego, or is it for the betterment of my business a year from now, 5 years from now, for the legacy I want to build? And that's really the question that weaves through. As far as similarities, I would say that was my biggest lesson, for sure.
Love that. Love that. Give a round of applause for that answer. Very honest. Very honest. Very honest. Lots of wisdom there. So back to you, Julie. Here. What? Hello there. This is so fun because they weren't expecting to be up here, so I just
So we're not,
know
this is
that
not
I'm
scripted.
We're just rolling it out.
I know that I'm getting, that's what I love. And isn't it true on the topic of spontaneity, right? Which is kind of what we're all learning to embrace here. Like, one of the things that is really cool about what we do, I think, besides everything, is sorry, had to. I mean, I got the damn microphone, for God's sakes. I can say whatever I want. Is that we actually have, and you've seen this over and over again, this organic sort of leadership factory where people go from coming in as brand new, whatever they did. Maybe they were, Caroline was a substance abuse counselor, Becca sitting back there, a chiropractor, Brooke sitting in the middle of those two, a off-road ATV brick and mortar business owner, right? I think of Kelly Roberts sitting over there, a teacher. Em, what did you do?
I was right there.
Okay. Yeah. And kind of coming into this, this world of, oh crap, I'm brand new now at this. Like, I have no idea like what I'm doing. And we're able to sort of watch them go from, enrolling in a damn course, walking through the front door, just like everybody else has. And then that journey to eventually, and by the way, coming to one of these masterminds and speaking on the stage is never a requirement. It's just a opportunity to grow. And a lot of times we see people growing right up here on the stage, literally. I mean, metaphorically, but literally, right? You're not going to see any magic this weekend, I don't think.
At the party.
Oh, the party. Yes. Sorry, I take that back. What is that? Embracing the unknown, Julie, going maybe from something else that you've done in your life where there was a certain element of certainty, and come here working with me. Of course, there's never any certainty, right? You never know what the hell I'm going to do or say, but also this business. So many times we have tried to predict the future. We have thought about what if we lose this or that. And it's always embracing the unknown is something that is where all the magic happens here. What has that been like for you? And do you trust it now that everything's going to be okay, that we're going to be successful? And what has that been like over the past 8 years or so to go from maybe needing certainty and she started out as my personal assistant. I think the very first thing that I ever asked you to do was something with PowerPoint.
Yes.
I mean, I got a good memory, don't I? So do you. To now, and you were probably like, I wonder what I'm going to get paid. Like, I wonder maybe. What has it been like, and what can you tell people about embracing the unknown and going from needing and being attached to outcomes and needing guarantees to embracing the unknown?
So that's a great question, because when I started with Dave, my background is in operations. So there's always a certain level of certainty when it comes with like a role like that. So I was an operations manager for a very large retail company, and there was that guaranteed income that was always coming in. And also there was a guaranteed, I knew what I had to do every single day, and I knew how to, do processes and procedures and SOPs and stuff like that. So that was always my background. And so of course, when I come and I work with Dave, I knew him and I knew his ability to really, whatever he put his hands on, it was going to be successful. So, do you want more? Do you want more?
Stop it. Stop it.
So I knew that no matter what he was going to do, it would be successful. And yes, we've gone through some hurdles. I mean, we've had some ups and downs, and it's that knowing that we are always going to get through it. Also having the humility of taking on roles that I've never had to really take on before. While right now I am in an operations role, and I really kind of have been since the beginning, it's shifted and molded constantly since day one. So yes, I did start out as a personal assistant, answering emails, things of that nature, which honestly kind of was a step back from what I was doing in my, actual like corporate job, so to speak. But knowing that I could take a step back and I was eventually going to take 100 steps forward, that kept me motivated to keep on going and to have the humility to say, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to go figure it out. I'm not the expert at this, but I'm going to find somebody who is, and I'm going to learn from them. Some stuff was learning directly from Dave. And other things I had to venture out on my own and be like, well, how am I going to figure this out? Because he's not an operations guy. If you didn't know that, he's not a process-driven person. So he makes sure that he's surrounded by people. It's okay. I think they know this. You've already kind of let that cat out of the bag a couple of times. But he's not the person to go to for necessarily the operations questions. So I would have to go and find who's the expert in this area of something that I've been tasked to do, and have the humility to be like, I don't know this. Can you help me out? Or, what can I enroll in? What courses can I take? What training can I pick up on? So I think just having that, understanding and knowing that it all does work out in the end. I am that type of person who likes to have a plan and likes to know that this is the end goal. And sometimes we don't have an end goal. Sometimes we just know going into it that we know that we have a really great idea, but with this industry and the business that we are in right now, we really do not know what the end is really going to look like until we get there. And honestly, the end isn't here. We're always growing. We're always changing. The company is always looking for ways to keep on going, because we're in it for the long haul. Dave talks about that all the time. We're not part of this like pump and dump, like, yeah, let's get as much money as possible and then move on to the next thing. It's, well, how can we create a company that's around for the next 10, 15, 20, 25 years? Something that he could pass on to his kids if they wanted to run it in the future. So I think that's really, does that answer your question?
More of an answer. Okay. What do you think, everybody? So, Joanne,
Yes.
You have, speaking of multiple hats, speaking of what Julie just said in a very articulate and extremely clear way, just kind of taking us through the journey of what it's been like into the unknown and embracing that. You have done that here. You have been a business plan advisor, somebody who meets and talks with people as they're going through the challenge. You have worked as a kind of a junior marketing manager or somebody who just kind of started out at the bottom of the totem pole in that area of the company. Now she's our director of marketing, but also live training. So she also kind of, because our marketing is so much to do with our live training, and kind of that is the best way to market your business, is to showcase what your actual product is. So that's not a very common title or job description for people inside of a company. It's usually director of marketing and then director of product development or whatever. And sometimes they don't talk. And sometimes that can be a problem. It's like the marketing department is marketing something that they writing a check that their ass can't cash. Ever heard that happen inside of a? Well, that's what I've seen a lot in companies. Well, we like to try to integrate everything and show people what's happening. And she's done. It's been a brilliant role and also execution of the role. But talk to people about what it's been like and the importance of knowing every aspect of your business and having wore every hat inside of the company. For example, some people want to come in and say, let's just get right to outsourcing that. Let's just get right. What can I outsource? I'm actually going to build a business outsourcing everything first, and then I'll get to actually, right? So for example, a big example of that now would be ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. I don't need to learn copywriting because, well, I've got a robot that can do that for me. And so in turn, I don't really know what a good marketing message is because I've not really wrote it myself. And there's just say more about that from your perspective of both wearing all those hats in your brick and mortar business, but also here in the importance of then when you do have somebody who you're leading or managing, being able to actually have proper expectations of them. What's that been like for you?
Right. Yeah, it comes back down to, are you trying to build a pump and dump business?
This is a common
right
saying here today.
Yep, pump and dump. That's the word of the week. I like that phrase.
Weave that into it.
Or I can. Or are you looking long term? If you're looking for that long-lasting business, ultimately you're going to have growth. That I would assume that would be the goal, which means you're going to hire people. How do you know who to hire? Who's the good hire? Who's the good copywriter? Who has the right skills you need to excel your business forward? And you don't know that unless you've done it yourself. Because you can go on Fiverr and find 500 different people and you're searching by price point, it's not going to work out. You won't find the person you actually need to grow your business that understands the messaging and the issue that you're trying to fill and complete. You have to know it. You don't know what a good funnel builder is to outsource until you've actually built some and know if they're blowing smoke up your ass. Excuse the language. But if you don't have the education around it, you don't know if they're, because some will, I've sat in interviews where they're trying to sound a certain way, and you know because you have that experience that, oh, this guy doesn't know anything. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. But if you didn't actually do it first, you would just believe everything they're saying to you. And now you've gone and taken your business down the wrong path, and it's going to be very costly. Bad hires are very costly. I can't tell you and stress that enough. Bad hires are very costly to a business, and not just monetarily, to culture, to systems, to growth long-term, that your business will feel long past you finally making that decision to get rid of that bad hire, whether it's a contractor or not. So I think it's crucial to have full understanding of the hats you wear and that you've done them and you know what you need to fill to make sure you have somebody that's qualified and maybe even better than that skill than you are. That would be the goal.
Tying that back into your original point about ego, that can be a big ego thing. Oh my gosh, am I going to bring in somebody who's actually smarter, better than I am? Right? It's like, ooh, do I have the guts to do that? Well, I found those guts somewhere, and I'm blessed to be, you can see some of our amazing team standing right over there. I mean, just the culture that we have, that we all create together and protect. You create the culture and then you protect it. And if you're the only person inside of your company right now, you are the culture. You are the culture. So however you act and however you think and whatever you say, however you carry yourself, you're not going to bring in somebody who is going to believe in your dream more than you do. You may find somebody with better skills, but you're not going to find somebody who's going to act more excited about what you're doing than you are. You can't hire culture. You have to create it. You can hire skills, you can hire intelligence, but you can't hire culture. You have to create that. And I'll tell you, then you have to protect it. And that's what you just touched on. You have to protect that as much as anything. And that starts with your own mindset, the way that you look at your business, the way that you talk about your business. Here's one challenge that I have for everybody that's both here, but also those of you who are watching at home. From this day forward, never talk down about yourself. Never talk down about your business. Stop being attached and replaying that old, tired, disempowering story. Stop. Because every time you say that out loud, you drive that deeper into your belief system. And that's your message. Anybody ever heard of a mission statement in a company? So one of the first things, I don't write out my mission statement, right? Well, you can write out your mission statement all day long on paper, but you are your mission statement. The way that you carry yourself is your mission statement. The way that you talk about what you're doing is your mission statement. It doesn't need to be said. It's felt. It's understood. It's one of those things that when people meet you, you don't have to communicate it with words. It's understood. And so if you are going to enroll people, both your audience and your future customers, as well as people who are going to work with you inside of your company, the way you talk to them, the way you carry yourself, and this is not about domination, is it? It's not about being a tyrant. I'm one of the most laid back, kind of passive. Now I'm direct when I need to be direct. And I say what I mean what I say. And the most important thing is I try not to be, and don't think I am, mean when I say it. Julie and I have had some incredibly difficult conversations. I'm talking about ones that were emotional in terms of, wow, this is hard to say and how hard to hear. And it's said because this is what direct communication is, where you build respect with people. When you honor yourself and your boundaries, you train people how to teach you, you train people how to treat you, both in life, but also in business. And so your mission statement is how you act. It's how you speak about yourself. And so I want to give everybody a special challenge this weekend to really stop sharing and saying the old tired lies about yourself and the old disempowering stories about what you haven't done up until this point and start talking about what you're gonna do. Start casting a vision. Practice it right here. Start casting a vision. What's in the past is in the past, people. What you didn't do yesterday, the video you didn't record this morning, whatever. You didn't go through this training, you didn't show up to that. Nobody gives a damn. This is just like they told me when I got clean. We don't care about what or how much you used, because, you know, we all, when we're coming off the streets, and we all want a war story. And this is not even a recovery thing. People love the war story. They said, Dave, look, we know you're a tough guy. We don't care about what you did, how much you used, who your connections were. We only care about what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. That was how I got clean, surrounded by those kind of people. And your customers and the people here, that's all we care about too. Okay? And that should be your attitude to your customers. I don't care about all that. Just what do you want to do about your problem and how can I help? That's called leadership. That's what you're hearing. That's what we've all learned together. And we have learned this together. You do form partnerships and bonds and friendships with people, and you do go on a wonderful, beautiful journey together. And when you get to break bread and make a living with people, it's an awesome feeling because you're helping support each other's livelihoods. You know that your work's impacting their kids. That's why it's such a great honor and responsibility to be here. Because my work, I know what I say, what I do impacts people's children, allows them to have a better life. Not just my own kids. That's kind of a selfish, isolated, lonely road. But knowing that, hey, wow, what I do impacts you, what you do impacts me and my children. So we also got to hold each other accountable. You know, we got to tell each other the hard things so we can keep what we have, not just go crazy and hope and walk down this path blindly and hope that it always just, no, we got to be intentional, right? We got to talk about difficult things. We got to try to look ahead and say, where are the landmines? How do I avoid those? And there's a lot of different ways in which those will become important to you as you become successful. The most important thing is to stop with the disempowering stories and start casting your vision. Start sharing your intentions. Where are you going with people? Start building the culture. Even if you don't have anybody to share it with inside of your company, you are the culture. Start sharing it with your audience. Enroll them into your vision. Let them know where you're going. You have to act as if sometimes. What do you have to act as if? You have to act as if you know where you're going. Even though you may not, like Julie just said. Sometimes it's like, well, you know what? We don't know exactly where we're going somewhere. We ain't going backwards. We know that. And so, you know, that's how all great wars are won and fought. And this really is a war that starts right here. You're battling yourself. You have to convince yourself you are worth following. You have to convince yourself you are worthy of this gift, this opportunity. And be thankful that you don't have to cross the country to go buy picks and shovels to dig a hole looking for a little nugget of gold. We really do have a unique opportunity. The cool thing is that we don't even have to show up to a brick and mortar place to do this. We just have to get ourselves prepared every morning to show up and be the best version of ourselves on video, on Zoom, right? It's a beautiful thing. One time, tell this story and we'll end, I actually called Julie, this was about 5 or 6 years ago, and I said, hey, I just got this office down here in St. Pete, and you know, I'm thinking about like bringing the whole team here and like moving everybody down and trying to convince everybody to come down to St. Pete. Now she lives in Michigan, right? You know, and she was like, oh, really, Dave? Oh, is that what you're thinking about? Okay. Let me think about that. And I had known she already knew she wasn't coming, right? Because who would want to get, and so we embraced, that was us learning and failing forward and figuring it out. And now we've been able to execute a beautiful company that has, you know, almost 200 people fluctuates between 150 and 160 or 70. And we do it all from home. So anything is possible. Joanne, I was talking about, her kind of journey through the company. And, one of the things that I like to do is I like to share with people in my passions and give away gifts and awards. And Julie actually has something special for you here, because you didn't have an opportunity to, we recruited Joanne. We usually give these watches away to our, affiliates, and then also the people who are doing sales, BPAs inside of our company, when they reach certain milestones, specifically $1 million, right, in sales. And so what happened with Joanne was we kind of snatched that from her. We kind of robbed her of that opportunity to finish that particular role with that particular hat and do $1 million in sales as a BPA. And so she's now been in this role for, I think, a little over a year and some change. And she has way far exceeded our expectations. I mean, she is somebody who is the best of the best, and not just at what she does, but also who she is, the culture, the leadership, everything about her is incredibly special. And she is just so deserving, because she protects what we have here, works hard, not only doing marketing and not only planning, but she facilitates live events. How many of you have been on Decade in a Day and seen her there in the comments? And so would you open that up for her and present her this, hold present her with this beautiful Rolex. Welcome to the Rolex Club. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wear it in good health, my friend.
I will.
Wear it
Thank you.
with pride and joy, and know that we appreciate everything that you do here for us all.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, off the stage they go. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies. Let her go take that in and process that. Well-deserving gift. Aw. Very sweet. All right, my friends. Wake Up Legendary. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you weren't supposed to see all this. We're still live, right, Jalen? Okay, I'm not just talking to myself. Yeah, talking to nobody. Hey, I'm fine with talking to nobody. I told you the story earlier about talking to nobody. I'm very comfortable talking to myself. All right, friends, listen. You ain't got to go home, but you can stay here, okay? You didn't pay. Okay? So we will see you later. My friends, say goodbye to everybody out there on. Okay? You got to go, okay? I know it's tough. This is hard for me too. I'm crying inside, okay? This is tough. We hope that you can come to a future event and we get a chance to meet you and hang out with you. And if not, know that we will certainly continue to try to stream at least an hour on Friday and keep our commitment to showing up and doing these Wake Up Legendaries every single morning, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for you, so you can tune in and connect with what we're doing here and hear real stories. And hopefully this morning, hearing not just from a client, somebody who's gone through our training, but, behind the scenes of some of the heart and the soul of the people who are, making things happen every day. And so we hope that you enjoyed that. Again, you ain't got to go home, even though you probably are home, but you can't stay here. So signing out, take care. We'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Get out of here. Peace. Bye.